So we're live. Awesome. Considering we're live now, welcome to the March 2018 Radio Project Call. It's been an exciting month, and well, we've got a lot of on our agenda, so let's dig right into that. I obviously just closed the agenda window, which was very clever. There we go. So let's start with month in review. What has happened? Remember in the beginning of February, the leadership structure of the GNU Radio project changed, and since then I've been doing the maintenance of the source tree. Martin's been helping me a lot. Andre has been working greatly on improving all things CI and infrastructure, and so we've made some big improvements on the front of fixing a couple of bugs, merging in stuff that has been waiting to get merged for far too long. We made progress on both the master branch and the which will be released as version 3.7.12, and on the next branch, which will eventually become 3.8. So I'd really like to thank all the great people that actually wrote patches, wrote bug reports, wrote emails. Keep up that work, because we've been able to, if I'm not mistaken, close around 60 pull requests in the last month. So that's 2 per day, and that's not counting these that are already totally ready for merge but are waiting for some legal clearance and this kind of stuff. So things that's basically done but not yet merged. This is awesome. I guess that's it from my side for the month in review. Is there something else we need to add to that? I can't hear a thing, which is probably not a good thing. Can you hear me?
No, that's we have nothing.
Okay. So there's one thing that Felix said I should mention. It's GSOC. So like every year, and for the last 3 or 4 years, Felix did his GSOC 2012. So for a couple of years, we've been part of GNU Radio, as GNU Radio being a mentoring organization in the Google Summer of Code, which means that we're basically able to employ student developers for a summer, and well, they get the money from Google, and we get their code, and they get our mentoring. So this is a great opportunity. We do still have a lot of room for more applicants. So since I guess yesterday the application phase opened, if you're a student or you knew a student who can use money, which is basically every student in this world, and can use the experience and the mentoring that the biggest and most popular and greatest software-defined radio framework of all time can offer, then do please get in touch with the mailing list. Do read our wiki pages on GSOC, and never hesitate to actually ask a question. Better ask early than too late. Yeah, so that's that. And I think I should hand over to Derek and
So I think my first topic was going to be that in this coming month, I believe it is, Bastien Bossel will be attending a conference in France and representing the GNU Radio project as an organization. He'll be talking about the applications that GNU Radio has for research. And this is at a conference which is a meeting of the French wireless testbed community. I'm looking at a Google Translate of the French website, so apologies for anything I get wrong on this. but it's a radio evaluation platforms day, co-organized by RSD GDR, which translates as Distributed Systems and Networks, and ISIS, which is the Information Signal and Image and Vision group, which impressively translates. And it's going to be a big, a fairly large event, I think, and Eurocom's open air interface will also be there making a show for open source development. So it looks like a really interesting day, and I personally look forward to hearing his results, and hopefully he'll do a little write-up about it. The second thing that I had was, as a result of attending FOSDEM last month, I met up with Chris Gamble, who is the person who runs the Contextual Electronics project, but also the Amp Hour podcast. And we had a previous interaction before in San Francisco where I talked about GNU Radio, and having run into each other again, he asked me to come onto his podcast and talk about software-defined radio. So there's a podcast posted on theamphour.com, and we'll have a link below in the video. And it's basically Chris and I talking for 2 hours about GNU Radio, about the project, how beginners can get into it, what use it is in businesses, in companies, some examples of projects that have been run with it. And we also covered things like the recent reorganization. So I think it's probably interesting, and the feedback's been pretty positive on that. And I think it was a good chance to get GNU Radio out in front of a new audience of people. Finally, the last note that I have is donning my cap as one of the GNU Radio conference organizers. We're happy to say that the tickets are now on sale on Eventbrite. You can go to gnuradio.org and onto the GRCon 18 page and find all the information there. The tickets are on sale starting right now. We have early bird sales running till June 30th, and then the conference will be starting on September 17th. So we hope that everyone listening will be there if possible. The conference, of course, is no good at all without papers and presentations. So that call the call for papers has started at this point. We'll be putting more information up very soon, but you can find more information on the GNUradio.org website as well. And the submissions will open on April 1st. So between now and then, and the final deadline of June 3rd, get your papers together, get your presentations together, and also tutorials. If you're interested in running a tutorial session, we are definitely looking for people who would be interested in a more interactive or a more involved discussion of a particular topic. And that's the update for the GNU Radio conference at this point. We're really excited. We've had the first few tickets come in, so we look forward to seeing a whole bunch of you in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the middle of September.
So also, I'd like to mention that early bird pricing is really attractive for GRCon. So if you consider going, maybe consider fast. With that, I'd actually like to come back to a development aspect. As I mentioned, we'll be releasing 3.7.12 relatively soon. And with that, we'll be changing from our old development model to one that's kind of more common in the open source and also in the commercial world. What happened up till now is that we had different Git branches. So GNU Radio uses Git, and we have different branches, which means we have different lines of development. And we especially have one line that's basically for patches. Whenever something's broken and we find out and we fix that, that happened to go there. And then that branch gets merged back into the master branch, which is the branch where features are added. And also there's another branch which is called Next, which is for the next bigger version of GNU Radio. So turns out that this doesn't scale all too well, and we instead decided that we want to work in a model where forward development always happens on the master branch, and we have, which also applies to bug fixes to existing things, unless they are already like solved by something that was developed. So we generally will work on that single branch, and whenever we see a bug fix, we will then pick that bug fix and put it onto the main branch, which allows us to very, very finely review what we fix, and thus hope to do two things. First of all, because we focus all development on one branch, we basically hope that this will speed up things, and also because we very, very finely control what we pick onto the maintenance branch, we will increase the stability and hope that most of our patches will like not require you to compile your projects anew. We'll see how that works out, but that's my personal hope. Also, that means that we will never like have to merge in the maintenance branch, which is meant to augment existing releases and fix bugs on that. We'll never merge that back into the feature branch, which will avoid a lot of the overhead that's been pestering everyone who's been working with radio code maintenance in the last years. So that's a nice thing. So as said, we're trying to get 3.7.12 outdoor. Hope this happens this month. There's a lot of features that we wanted to get out to the people, and that basically will be the last non-bug fix release of the 3.7 series. We'll keep 3.7 around for a while, quite a while probably, because there's just so much code that depends on that, but we'll focus the development of new features for now on the 3.8 kind of future that we have. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Is there something else that we should add about that topic? Because if there's not, I'd hand over to Andre actually to talk about our website.
Right. Oh, okay, great. I can't hear myself. That's good. So I'm going to talk about the current state of the website. So unfortunately, this week, Marcus himself uncovered the PHP injection in our website, which has been around for quite a while. So at least 1 or 1.5 years, which allowed the unprivileged user to execute arbitrary code in our machine. Fortunately, it's just running in its own container, so only the WordPress WordPress data and WordPress database is affected. So we quickly just took a dump of the content and now are serving a static only page with all the information still available. And we're in the process of moving on and figuring out a way of providing new content and new information, not in WordPress probably, something which could be abused without us knowing.
So to stress the security aspect of this, this only affects you at all if you had a GNU.org WordPress account yourself. It does not affect you if you've got a wiki account or something. So if in doubt, it never affected you. It's still like, we're kind of sorry about that. We're very sorry about that mostly. WordPress is not the most easy and easy to make secure thing in the world. So we're probably moving away from that, but it kind of takes time. But for now, the website's simply like a snapshot of how it was before we took it down for security reasons, obviously. Yeah, and we hope to get that sorted out rather quickly. But obviously, as mentioned, we have a lot of technologically important things to do right now. So this might be a bit hackish for the next couple of months.
Yeah. So also other data, not only like user data, but also the images and everything else is stored in a different place and was not accessible from the website point of view. So that's to stress. And I also will send an email out to the list to inform most of our users about what happened.
Cool.
Right. So also the next topic is about Slack. So I don't know if everyone already heard of the news that Slack is taking down its IRC and XMPP gateways, and some of our core users of Slack are using those gateways, and it's pretty bad for communicating if like your gateway is getting took down. And we also considering moving to something else like May 1st. Until then, so we'll have another project call, and hopefully we can then announce what we are up to and what the future communication solution will look like. And if everything works out, we will switch the latest May 1st to still have like all the communication options open. If something doesn't work out, we will like switch something in May or June or something along that lines. But we will keep you informed about changes and decisions made. If you have something to share with us, like a better platform you think, just just send an email or discuss it in the IRC channel or something. We're happy to hear.
So I guess that wraps out that. I'd like to hand over, I guess, to Nate, if that's possible.
Yep. Thanks, Marcus. Just like to make a little announcement that Edis Research will be hosting a series of free hands-on technical workshops in the Washington, D.C. area this next week. There's 2 workshop sessions, and there's 2 groups. March 20th and 21st is the first set of workshops, and then the 22nd and 23rd is the second set of workshops. They're full-day workshops. The first workshop is an introduction to UHD, the USERP, and GNU Radio, basically the entire open source toolchain. The second workshop, the second day, is focused on RFNOC and FPGA programming. Space is limited, and it's allocated on a first-come, first-served basis. If anybody is in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area, go ahead, feel free to contact support@edis.com. Or there's also posts on the Discuss GNU Radio mailing list and the USERP users mailing list with additional details. So if you're interested in, would like to, be part of a hands-on GNU Radio workshop, we'd love to see you there. That's all I have for my announcement on that, and I'll hand it back to you, Marcus.
Oh, thanks. So I, having been part of one of these workshops that Nate and Neil and others organize, this is always like very dynamic thing. You not only like get to like follow a guy who's doing things on a whiteboard, you get to actually do something yourself and talk to your neighbors. So this is really a good opportunity. But that also ends the things that I have on my agenda. Or is there something else that we've been missing?
So I just wanted to quickly step in and say, unfortunately, I can't find it right at the moment, but there's a amateur radio group, I believe in Norway, which just ran a GNU Radio tutorial session. And they said that they had a great time with that, and they've shared out their slides. I think it's
awesome.
Something that they would be interested in having us do a little bit of a workover on, and then it may be something that we can contribute into our tutorials and resources. And so if anybody listening to this has run their own GNU Radio sessions, has talked at their companies or maker spaces, or just amongst friends, if you have any resources that you are able to share, we would love to see that. If you're running training, as a business or as a personal thing, we're interested in hearing about those sessions, and we're always happy to share that out to other people who are interested in GNU Radio.
Awesome. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So yeah, is there something else? I guess that's not the case. So let's wrap this up. And thank you all for coming. For everyone who's been like listening in on YouTube or will later hear the recording, it's been great. So see you latest next month. Bye bye.